Hi everyone, welcome back to today's guided reading. Now we're going to finish off where we left off. I had one page, I ran out of time yesterday, had one page left of the chapter. I'm going to read that and then we'll continue on to the next chapter today, okay? So we'd left off, they'd just been shown the rocket, they'd found out that the rocket was actually going to space, and Liam had a bit of a realisation. I had a different reaction to the rocket. I wasn't interested in the paint. I had one thought, one big, damp thought. Namely, I am not going to space. The children are having the thrill ride of the century, and we, the grown-ups, are going to sit around and watch and maybe video them or something. Come along, children, smiled Dr. Drax as the kids all climbed onto the escalator platform at the side of the rocket. I said, but we can see round the rockets too, can't we? I'm afraid not, Dr. Drax smiled. I want the children to get used to being together without their daddies. After all, they won't have their daddies in space. That's right, because I am not going to space. Florida Kirby is going to space. That is exactly the wrong way round. It's supposed to be more fun being a grown-up. That's why I swapped being a kid for being a dad. What's the point in forfeiting your childhood if all you get for it is filling in forms? He must be raging. Right, next chapter is I am the space daddy. When I realised I'd gone all the way to the Gobi Desert just to watch Florida Kirby go into space, I felt like I'd died. Not died as in real life, but died as in a game. When you're running along nicely on level 40, having all sorts of level 40 type adventures, and bleep, you're dead with no spare lives, and you have to go right back to the beginning and go through all the boring bits all over again. While Florida and the other kids were looking around a real rocket, we dads had to sit down and fill in forms full of questions about our children. I can't believe how much parents are supposed to know about their kids, like their date of birth, for instance. In fact, I was all right with that one because I still had Florida's passport, so I just copied her birthday out of that. Oh dear, said Dr. Drax. Here's a daddy who doesn't know his own daughter's birthday. I know Samson 2's birthday, said Samson 1. And one day the world will know it too. It will be a national holiday in our country. I do sometimes forget Max's, said Monsieur Martinet, but he is too well brought up to say so. The birthday question turned out to be the easy one. There were questions about vaccinations, allergies, and what childhood illnesses she'd had. I did remember that she'd been off school a lot in year 6, but I couldn't remember why. All the other dads were ticking things off and filling things in. I tried to see what Max's dad was writing so I could copy, but he caught me looking and put his hand over his form so I couldn't see. Childhood illnesses. I couldn't think of one childhood illness, except that when Florida was talking about celebrities earlier, she'd mentioned chronic something. I thought if I wrote chronic, it would help me remember the other word. That was it. Chronic obesity. Dr. Drax was looking over my shoulder. She said, chronic obesity? Are you sure? I'm going to pause there. Right. I mean, we all know Liam's faking it before he's making it, right? But how can you tell that not just us, but Dr. Drax seems suspicious of Liam? If you think about the extract that is up on our website, if you want to print it and highlight it or whatever, how does this page show us that Dr. Drax is suspicious of Liam? Now, this is an inference question. Therefore, I would like you to use, because the text says, get in a little quote of evidence and explain what it means using which means. As a challenge, you might be able to justify your answer with 2 pieces of evidence. Okay, so if you want to have a go at that and maybe pause me and then I can talk to you about the answer. Okay, so I would have said for that one that at the beginning, right at the very top of that page, she says, oh dear, here's a daddy who doesn't know his own daughter's birthday. Now, I think she's suspicious of Liam because it says he doesn't know his own daughter's birthday, which means he doesn't know her very well. Now, at that point, it might just be that she's going, oh, he doesn't know his daughter very well. But I think it would certainly arouse suspicion a bit. And then down here, we've got, hopefully you pointed this bit out, chronic obesity. Are you sure? I think Dr. Drax is suspicious of Liam because the text says, she said, chronic obesity, are you sure? Which means she's questioning whether Liam knows his own daughter's illnesses correctly. Okay, so those are the answers I would have gone for. If you've got something different, perhaps message me and let me know. Okay, right. Now I'm going to read the next few pages up to page 139. And while you're listening, you might want to think about the question that I've got on the screen to start with. Okay, so she said, chronic obesity, are you sure? Then, luckily I remembered that obesity means fat. I said, not chronic obesity, sorry. I crossed out obesity and put arthritis. It looks quite convincing written down. Dr. Drax sniffed quite hard, then took the form off me and looked at it. I see under vaccinations you've ticked yellow fever and malaria. I'd ticked quite a few to be on the safe side. Oh, and dengue fever. Has Florida travelled a lot? Yeah, I think so. Think so? I mean, I think she has because she has. She's been to Florida, hence the name. And we all went to Enchantment Land in Southport in year 6. I mean, when she was in year 6. Southport in England? Yes. Only you don't normally need vaccinations if you're travelling within England. Not normally, no, I said. But I say, why take the risk? You can't be too careful. That's the Digby family motto. After the paperwork, it got worse. We played golf. Golf! The other dads couldn't have been more excited if you've given them invisibility cloaks. Golf while Florida was looking around a rocket. Golf while she was getting ready to be a Tycoon. Golf. Golf. If you think Monopoly is boring, you should try golf. If you were playing golf inside World of Warcraft, what skills would you need? Running skills? Nope. Sword skills? No. Cunning? No. Wisdom? You are joking. The object of the game is to put a ball in a hole. Tidying up skills, that's what you'd need. Tidying up skills and a lot of time on your hands. A game? I suppose it feels like a game if you are actually one of the undead. We pootered around this golf course in 2 electric buggies while they all talked about their averages and handicaps and told stories about times when they'd put other little balls in different little holes. I taught Samson 2 to play golf some years ago, said Samson 1 as we lined up to take our first shots. Such a practical way to learn about the interaction of physical forces and so on. For instance, if I use a driver to tee off, a driver is one of those golf sticks for hitting the ball with. Apparently they got different names like wedge and iron and stuff. Anyway, Samson 1 teed off with the driver and explained about how the parabola of the ball in the flight was related to the swing of the driver as he hit the ball. I wasn't really listening. I just hit the ball as hard as I could. It flew down the grass. I shouted, yes! The others just stared at me and Monsieur Martinet said, why are you so happy? I hit it loads further than him. I'm winning. Samson 1 laughed. But you've hit it too far. It's gone past the hole and into the rough. I had sort of assumed that the point of the game was to hit the ball as far as you could. I hadn't known about the holes. Extraordinary, said Monsieur Martinet, that one could reach adulthood without knowing how golf is played. I said, yeah, but do you know how World of Warcraft is played? I bet you don't. Monsieur Martinet sort of squinted, then said, golf is a game that teaches many of the qualities needed for success. For instance, decision-making and attention to detail. Computer games, on the contrary, are for idiots. Or teenagers, said Eddie Xanadu. I realised I'd said the wrong thing. I tried to recover a bit of ground by saying, let's see if you do better then. I'm not sure how dadly that sounded, to be honest. The others all got their ball onto the flat bit of the grass round the hole. I had to get mine out of the long grass. Dr. Drax came with me and told me I should chip the ball with a niblick. I was quite excited by that suggestion. I thought a niblick might be some slim pond-dwelling goblin, which is what it sounds like. Disappointingly, it's just a golf stick. It does work, though. It knocked the ball straight up into the air and it plopped down on the green bit. Well done, said Dr. Drax. There's no feeling on earth as satisfying as dropping the ball down just so like that. Maybe not on Earth. I bet there are some much better feelings in space, though. Yes, she said. You've certainly given your daughter a great opportunity. Yes, I've given Florida a great opportunity, and I've given myself a niblick. Okay, we can see he's not particularly happy there, is he? Right, so the last thing I want you to do today is I want you to think about our 4 different dads, including our Liam dad. All right. And I want you to think about, well, how do they compare? Using what we've read so far. So particularly you can focus on this game of golf, but also if you think about, previously, so perhaps when they were on the aeroplane, when they've been looking round, things like that, when they were filling in the forms, how are they similar? How are they different? Okay, so you might want to do this in a couple of notes, then turn it into a sentence. If you want to pause me here, have a go yourself, and then you can come back to me and I can share some of my ideas if you'd like. So I think for this one, guys, I'd say certainly a similarity between the first three dads is their competitiveness. Okay, we've had since the beginning, we've had them all kind of vying to have the best child, the most successful child. So they're all incredibly competitive. I'd say Liam is probably the most different to the others. Another difference would be the three dads are very serious. They take things very seriously and they're completely kind of driven on what's happening there. Okay, so things like that. There are tons more ideas and hopefully you can come up with some different ones, but those are just a few to get you started. Okay, so look forward to joining you tomorrow. We've got some more guided reading lined up for us. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you soon.